Hello and welcome to Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver, and joining me today is Blade Gibson. Now, I apologize about the technical difficulties we had earlier today with Willie Manis, but Blade Gibson has been kind enough on short notice to step in and talk about the School of Morton. So thank you for being with us, Blade. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing perfectly fine for once. So, how about you?
I'm I'm doing wonderful. We had, like I said, we had some technical difficulties earlier in the day, and I'm so sorry to all my fans, everybody that's out there. We are going to reschedule Really Manis for next Thursday to come back on and try to be here with us. So that's what we're going to do for everybody that's out there. Now let's talk about Blade Gibson. Let's talk about you, sir. Uh, I know you come from a legendary family, but how did you break into the business, and why did you want to be at the School of Morton?
So, how I broke into the business is when I moved back from Florida. Originally I moved to Florida in 2014, and we moved back. We moved back in Mountain City, Tennessee, in 2020. And how I broke into the business is I was starting to go to APW, which is ran by my cousin. And the more we kept going back to APW, the more I was wanting to get this itch of actually trying to finally get in the ring. So after the show was over, I would get in the ring and start training uh, teaching, getting taught how to bump and properly hit the ropes and stuff like that. It wasn't until about a year of me doing wrestling is when I came into the School of Morton. After Ricky telling my mom multiple times to bring me to the school, but I chose I chose the School of Morton because uh, it's who my mom and dad were trained. Well, my mom was trained by Ricky, and I always got great people always telling me great stuff about Ricky and his school, how much they learn from Ricky when he's available of being there. And when I got in there, I had my doubts of if this place was really going to accept me or not because of the discrimination of my size. But once I got into the school and they told me to come back after I had had two matches. They told me to come back. They told me when training was. I started coming to training, started to really perfect my craft, learn a lot more about what I should be doing during my matches. So I chose School of Morton just because of family and because I just personally felt like it was the right way of going with it. I mean, who can go wrong learning from a WWE Hall of Famer? Am I right?
Right, right. Well, not only do you get the toolage that the Hall of Famer has, but you also get to know the knowledge from the people that are there who have been under him from years of experience that have been working with him and through him. So that was actually a very smart move on your part to do that. I've got to give you credit on that. Now, as you mentioned, you came from a long line there of professional wrestling history. Just dig into that just a little bit.
So you have my dad, who was trained by Robert Gibson, Champs Gibson Sr., who unfortunately passed away in September of 2018. But he was trained by Robert at Robert's school, and my mom was trained. Brittany Diamond was trained by Ricky Morton at Ricky's school, and eventually, that's actually how my parents met, was through the Rock and Roll Express.
Wow.
At least from what how my mom tells the stories, that's how they met. So wrestling kind of brought my parents together, which is formed the whole wrestling family that I have.
Well, that's pretty awesome. And since you got to the School of Morton, you've seemed to excel in everything that they've thrown at you. You've been a hybrid champion. You've come close to being the world heavyweight champion. And we know that you've had a year-long struggle with that. So expand on that, talk about that a little bit, and then we're going to get into it.
It all started back in the summer of 20 2023. Uh, we had a seat. It was a outdoor show from where we usually filmed in Chucky. It was at CJ's Sports Bar in Kingsport. It was me against the current SOM champion at that time, James Anthony, who was also my first match in SOM. It was a non-title match, but it was me against him, and we went on to go through this match, and I actually scored a pinfall over him, got upset over him, and then that led into me being in a tag match with uh, Nathan Cross, who was the number 1 contender at the time, which led to me once again in the tag match pinning James Anthony. So pretty much from the summer of, so we're kind of almost going on, well, I shouldn't say 2022, it's 2023, my bad. I got my years mixed up. 2023. But it's kind of been almost a year and a half. I'm almost going on 2 years of me chasing this SOM title. And it's like you said, every time I've gotten close, there's always some detail or some person from the back wanting to come and interfere, or somebody I'm going up against wanting to take the cheap way out. It's never, hey, I pinned Blake Gibson in the middle of the ring clean. He didn't earn he has to go in the back of the line. It was Blake Gibson got screwed, send Blade to the back. There's no reason for him to try again. It's been that every single time I've come short. It's Blake Gibson got screwed, send him to the back. It's not Blake Gibson got screwed, let's right that and give him his fair shot. It's been constant. Blake Gibson had to go through hurdle, obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, just for every time I'm right there, about to get my crowning moment, about to win the SOM championship. Somebody either pulls a cheap shot, or somebody that's not even a part of the match has to come in and interfere. Which I believe is what you'll want to talk about, right?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's actually set it up like this. There's some video footage of one man in particular that you are particularly hell-bent on trying to get out of here, and that would be this man right here, Javen Myra. We're going to show this little video here just for a minute, and you talk about it. Tell us what's going on, what's happening. So,
huh?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're saying it's the Empire State of Myra, and I believe that's you on his shoulders here. They're trying to recap this.
This is straight after he came in, and if I had Michael Gabriel beat, mind you, I had the second previous SOM champion beat to the mat, ready for a 3 count. Javen Myra found it necessary to come out, put me to sleep for 1, and then proceed to give me not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, 9 F5s in total. 9 F5s, which left me a severe neck damage. I almost had fractured ribs. They were bruised. Luckily, they weren't fractured. But just constant F5s, even attacking the officials. Everything about this assault after the match was, for 1, unnecessary, and for 2, I guess if you're going to make a statement, you go after the skinniest man in the locker room. Because I mean, yeah, I'm not going to deny the fact that you look at me compared to Javen, there's a complete size difference. So I'm obviously not the biggest man in the locker room. So he was coming out this to make a statement.
And a statement he made, and that's really one of the reasons why we wanted to talk to Willie Manis today, because as you see right here on your screen, Brandon Moore's taking an F5. You took multiple F5s. There was multiple people who took F5s on this night, this given night that's even being shown here. And Javen Myra set himself up to be the monster, the man of SOM. And I honestly don't think that he's the one pulling the strings. There's another man inside the ring with him named Bronson Garrett, and he's part of Bronson Garrett Enterprises. But I really don't think that Javen Myra really understands the in-depth psychology of what the owner, quote unquote, is doing to him. Let's just call it like that, Blade. And, he made an example out of you, and he did it at your expense in a title match. Now, mind you, title match. So this is not the first time you've been screwed in a title match. You've been screwed several times in title matches, especially by the hands of one ref, Brandon Moore, at one point in time as well. We all know that he paid a referee off to make sure that you lost your hybrid championship at one point in time against him. And as you see here, the damage, the carnage, everything that's going on with this, it's just crazy that he would put this much emphasis on taking you out. So if he's putting this much emphasis on taking you out, he obviously deems you as a threat. The question is, why? Why will he deem you as that threat?
I mean, just from what we were talking about, I've constantly been chasing this SOM title. And every single time I've gotten close to it, again, somebody's either somebody's pulling cheap tactics, or doing what he did, coming in and interfering with my matches. Obviously, I think the problem is that they don't want to see me as champion. Me as champion is apparently a scary thought to a lot of the men in the locker room. Blade Gibson being on the top of the mountain, finally claiming his spot as the SOM champion, has put fear into a lot of the guys in the back. A lot of guys don't want to see that. And there might be a good reason for it. Because look at my work as the hybrid champion. I held that title, mainly my second ring. I held that title for 6 months. Literally 6 months up until I lost it. I held it for half a year.
And you were cheated out of how you lost that title. You didn't lose it fair and square.
That's it. Great point to bring up. So give Blade Gibson a title run to where he's not getting screwed out. And even if they are pulling the cheap tactics, he's overcoming them. Because it's not the first time Brandon Moore pulled a cheap tactic. Do remember, he tried to insert himself in a match between me and Luke Fury to make it a triple threat match.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And I overcame those odds. So the only way he could beat me was paying off the referee. So it made sense. But again, that was 6 months of a title reign where nobody could take me off until they screwed me. So imagine what the title reign's like as the SOM champion, while I'm actually on top of the mountain completely. It's a scary thought for them.
It has to be something scary to them, because every time you get the opportunity for that heavyweight championship, you've been screwed out of it. I mean, 100%. There's 3 for 3 on that one. You've been screwed out of it over the course of a year 3 different times. And this one being the last one with your chance with Michael Gabriel. And I hate to say it, man, but Connor Martin dropped the belt this past week. We all saw it. We all saw everything that happened there. I'm sorry, Connor. I hate to say that. You ended up dropping the belt to Javen Myra under precarious circumstances there as well. But Javen Myra is now the new champion of SOM, and you have the option and the ability. The question now is, we saw what happened when he tried to get your sister involved. He tried to make this personal with you, with your sister. So what is your answer and response back to him on that front?
Exactly what my response was when he started running his mouth after winning the SOM title. Because I know I sat there and I was given the idea of, hey, this might not be it for me. But then while sitting in the locker room, I sat there and I really realized something. And that was that if I were to quit, then my dad's legacy stops right there. If I were to quit, Bobby Lee, all those times he was sitting there putting me over on commentary, it all means nothing. And more importantly, if I quit, the fans don't get the champion they deserve to be proud of. So, to Javen Myra, you want to bring my sister into this? By all means, make it as personal as you want to, because then when the day comes to when me and you are in that ring, you are not going to have anything to throw at me that will stop the fight. You will not have anything in your arsenal that will keep me down for a 3 count, or even a 10 count for that matter, or a 20 count, or a 100 count. There is nothing in your arsenal that will keep me down. The more personal you make this, the more of a fight you are bringing amongst yourself.
And a fight you're going to bring as well. We also know that you're scheduled to address the SOM universe Sunday, March 16th, which is going to be coming up. You're going to be talking about some of the things that have happened here recently with them. Can you give us kind of a little sneak peek of what you want to say right here?
So let's look at it. The past, so just from Bunkhouse Stampede to now, it's been a roller coaster of emotions. You know, you're sitting there at the high thinking you're going to get your fair opportunities, and then life wants to throw you swerve balls. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. So going forward, what is there for Blade Gibson to do? What does Blade Gibson need to do to get back in the SOM title picture and to finally get his fair shot? That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, we're going to reflect on the past and show where that's going to take us to the future. What actions need to be taken now after everything that's happened to lead us to the future that we want, which is me being the SOM champion.
Well, I think it's partly on 2 people to blame, honestly. And I hate to say this, Scotty. I'm so sorry. I know you're watching back there somewhere in TV land. I think Scotty B has to take control and has to take actions over what is taking place here, and he has to punish them. Now, he tried by fining them, saying that it was going to be $10,000, but you're fining the enterprise. You're fining somebody who's got more money than God knows what to do with already. So it didn't really matter if he fined him for the problems that are taking place there. What needs to happen is action needs to be taking place, and I hate to say it, but he should have suspended him. After the actions that took place, there should have been a suspension. Hit him where it hurts, because he's already got money, but if his money runs out, if he starts dwindling it down little by little, and it starts going bye-bye little by little, that's what he should have done, in my personal opinion to you, Blade Gibson, especially after the first attack that we witnessed right there just a few moments ago. Secondly, I think not only suspension should have taken place, he should have fined them, of course, but then he should have set an example. Anybody else that's willing to do that, anybody that's willing to touch a ref, anybody that's willing to put their hands on an official in that capacity, you do not belong there. You don't belong there in any shape, form, or fashion. That's my personal take on it. And I hate to say that, but you can't be hitting officials and you can't be hitting women. I don't care what anybody says on any other front. You can't hit women, you can't hit officials, and you definitely can't destroy somebody, break their ribs, hurt them, as he did with RT3, as we all saw a couple weeks before. And would you say I'm correct on that, Blade Gibson, by thinking that way?
I can't say, there's nothing I have to argue against that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say it's all Scotty's fault. I mean, I think the fine part, not even disregarding the whole beatdown situation, they also put his hands on Scott while I was getting F5. You can
yes, sir, they did.
They sat there and they kicked Scott multiple times. Just for that alone, they should be fired. But one of the things that I guess just doesn't really sit right with me is the rules that Scotty placed before the match started for the SOM title when he versed Paul Morton. And that was that if any of the members decided to come out and interfere in any way, the match was going to be called off immediately.
But that didn't happen.
Exactly.
And we both know that it was somebody else that came through and decided to pick a bone with Paul Morton. So, and I get where you're coming from. I absolutely get where you're coming from, because you shouldn't have been screwed the way that you were screwed, especially by the one from Arkansas. You know, but you were, and here we are. This is where we're at now, Blade Gibson. So you got screwed once again in a title match for that title to be that person that you need to be. Where do you go from here? Where do we go from here? Because the match has been made now. Your bed's been set for you. So you've got to figure out a way to get back in that title picture somehow, some way. And if anybody deserves it, it's you and RT3. Both of you deserve to be in that title picture, in my personal opinion, especially for the way that they attacked you all viciously and without remorse. So that's my personal opinion on it, Blade Gibson. But I want to hear what you have to say. Where do you see yourself? How are you going to get back into that title picture?
Last time I got into the title picture, it was because of we had a gauntlet, and I was able to overcome that. The time before that was because I got screwed out of the hybrid title to put me in the main event for the SOM title. As far as I'm not seeing any posts from SOM management saying that there's a battle royal to determine the number one contender. I'm not seeing a gauntlet match to determine the number one contender. So we always have this thing of people, typically from January to April, it's a road to WrestleMania type deal. Well, the only thing for SOM is the road to the Paul Morton Cup, which right after Cobra Strikes, that's our next big show, is the Paul Morton Cup. At the end of the Paul Morton Cup, there's a battle royal to determine who wants to face a champion of your choosing, right?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, if there's no other opening to open from now till then I guess there's only one thing I have to set my mind on, and that's the Paul Morton Cup. Now, if the opportunity arises beforehand, I'll snatch that. I'm not going to let it slide by me. But until then, the Paul Morton Cup's the only golden ticket I see right in front of me to get the SOM title.
Well, Blade, there should be, though. That's the problem that we've got right now with SOM is leadership management, the powers that be that are in the back. They should see what's going on and they know what's gone on the past year. They know what's happened the past year. And you got to make it right at some point in time. You have to. If you don't make it right, one of two things happens. Either Blade becomes viciously bitter and turns on everybody, turns his back on everything he knows, or option B is he fights hard, gets to the Paul Morton Cup, wins that bad boy, and becomes the next world champion at the next event past it. So those are the only two options you have here, Blade. And to be honest with you, it looks like it's a hard road to hoe for that Paul Morton Cup. But are you up for the challenge? Are you up for doing it?
Am I up for it? Man, I'm starting to think maybe you've not been paying attention. Oh, respectfully. But the bigger the challenge, the better I will be in it. I thrive in the challenge. I thrive in the pressure. That's what makes Blade Gibson Blade Gibson. That's what gets the fans behind Blade Gibson. That's what makes us connect, is because no matter the obstacle, no matter the threat that stands in front of us, we overcome it, because that's life. You always got to overcome your next obstacle. So if, by all means, if I can't sit here and ask for my opportunity like you said, I rightfully deserve, then I gotta earn it like I've done every other time beforehand. I mean, you have a right. I could get bitter. I mean, I could sit here and start throwing a conniption fit over the fact of somebody that's never even stepped foot in the SOM, from my better knowledge, is getting a shot for the SOM title this Sunday. But that's not the way I roll. I want to be respectful. I want to do this the right way. I hope that Scott wouldn't be working against me. If you want honest opinion, if there's somebody that I think is possibly, there's my point. He's not been in SOM from my better knowledge. But yeah, here he is with a free SOM title shot.
Jake Painter, one of OVW's top and rising stars, is going to get a chance at Javen Myra this Sunday, March 16th, 2025, is what Blade Gibson's talking about at 128.5 Rivers Plaza, the Morton Arena. Doors are going to be opening at 4 p.m. The show is going to start at 5:05 Eastern Standard Time. General admission is going to be $10. Front row seats are going to be $15. And Blade, I believe you have absolutely every right to be pissed off that's happening. Every right, especially after what happened to you for your title match, what happened to you in your previous title matches that you've had. You have every right to be pissed off that this is happening right here. It seems like the powers that be don't care. Is that a fair assessment?
It is a fair assessment, but there's one man I do want to bring up, because he's not been talked about, he's not been seen, but my gosh, does he love to run his mouth. Ever since the bunkhouse stampede, it was a conspiracy at first. We didn't really know until the main event. But EC Dangerously hasn't shown his face since screwing me out of the bunkhouse stampede. Not once, but twice.
Twice.
Screwed me out of the hybrid title, and then later on that night proceeded to screw me out of the SOM title. And wanted to sit there. I can't even remember what he said after getting nailed in the head with the steel door. But I do want to know that along the lines of him saying that he was going to come back and screw me. Yet after he screws me, he doesn't have the balls to show up the school to face me man to man. He's not talking to me man to man.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he restart that match too? Swear that he had inside information to restart that match as well from the back?
He said that he got back from the back, that apparently Santiago's shoulders were up and not down. When everybody that was there had a clear view of his shoulders being pinned to the mat. So again, not just screwing me once, but twice.
Twice in one match. One night. That's right. So, I mean, that was the start of it. Then he hit you in the face with the door and said that he's there to screw Blade Gibson as long as Blade Gibson's at SOM. Those were the words. Those were the words, by God, that I'm quoting. So as long as you're at SOM, you've got somebody there that is looking to screw you. So how do you get over on the third man? Let's call it the third man, because that's what he is. And he supposedly doesn't even have a contract with SOM. Remember? He let his contract run out. So how is he getting access to SOM? We got to know from the powers that be, Blade. What do you think the theory is on that?
So EC Dangerously screwed me two times in one night. Then on top of that, keep saying that he was going to have a contract talking or have a conversation with Scotty B, yet still has not shown up. But meanwhile, sit there and said he wanted to screw Blade Gibson. As long as I was going after the SOM title, or probably any title for that matter, he was going to screw me. So if he's doing it from a distance, or supposedly trying to screw me from a distance, who says him and Bronson Enterprises aren't working together?
That's a very good point. And we know that EC Dangerously hasn't been there because the commentary booth has had a slew of new guests that have been sitting in his seat for commentary. I did it one Sunday in particular there for him. So I know that SOM has new people that are there. Judas has done it. Prince Malik has done it. So many people have done it. Scotty B has done it. So there's been people sitting in his seat without him having a contract at SOM. So it really makes the question go, how does the cookie crumble as long as he is the third man? I mean, Blade, like you said earlier, he's there to screw you. He's there to screw you every chance he gets. He's going to do it whether you're in the title picture or not. He's going to find a way to keep you from it because he's jealous of your family for some reason. Maybe it's because he wishes that he could be from a glorious family as the Gibsons. I don't know. This is just me speculating here. But you have to wonder what the angle is with him and why he has such a hell-bent path to destroy you.
Your guess is as good as I really wish I could sit here and just come off with something that is that would give people some actual satisfaction of knowing that that's possibly the reason why. But I honestly can't give you one because I mean, randomly one day he's posting screenshots. Supposedly screenshots of conversations with me and him saying I thought the fans sucked or something along that line, but they were gullible. That him quit. It's when he said he quit. He sat there and posted a screenshot making it seem like I was saying the fans were gullible for believing that or something along those lines. But the point being is that after he quit, for some reason he started to pick a bone with me. He started to cheer on Brandon Moore when he was in the ring. He started to down me more and more. And this is after this man was sat here and was boosting me up higher and higher when he was showing up. But just randomly out of the blue, just starts targeting me for no reason.
Well, Blade, he had everything. He had the fans behind him. He had fans who were begging him to sign the contracts. Please don't go. Please sign the contracts. Please stay with us. Please commentate for us. We love you to be here. We want you to be here on a regular basis. And it seems like he threw it all away to go to the dark side. I mean, is that a fair assessment in your mind?
That's probably the fairest assessment I can come up with when it comes to EC Dangerously.
And why? I mean, the question is that the fans are asking is why, Blade? Why is he targeting you? Why is he doing the things he's doing? And why won't he sign? And why won't he get back behind the booth? Those are the big questions that need to be answered here. And Blade, I hate to say it, but as long as you're at SOM, you do have to watch your back. We talked about it earlier. You're going to have to watch your back. You're going to have to watch it from the Enterprise. And you made a very, very good comment. Since he's not showing his face around there, but the Enterprise is still doing some dirty work, and they're hurting you, they're hurting your family, they're hurting you in every chance that you get for any title that you get, it makes me wonder now, because you brought it up, if he is the man pulling the strings behind the Enterprise and making that connection fly.
To me, that's about the only thing that would make sense, because at that point, because if Javen Myra didn't really see me as a threat, if he didn't see me as a challenge, if he saw me as easy pickings, he saw me as trash, then why wouldn't he wait for me to win the SOM title so he could take it off of me afterwards?
I guess the only answer to that, and I'm probably going to get some heat for this, is he didn't want to face you man-to-man because he couldn't beat you man-to-man.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
That's the only thing that makes sense in my mind is from the way that it's been presented, the way he's attacked you from behind, multiple occasions, on 4 separate occasions now, he's attacked you from behind and attacked somebody else from behind as well. And he's taken you guys to the limit, almost to the point of being completely out of action in the case of RT3, broken and cracked ribs, he is out of action, completely out of action. So, he's taking you guys to that point. Why is it that he can only attack you from behind? Is he afraid that the challenge that's set before him in front of him is going to be too much?
I mean, looking off RT3, from what I remember him saying is that he was a 7-time SOM champion.
It's true.
That to me, that alone is not even mentioning his other accomplishments in SOM. Just that accomplishment alone is enough to sit there and be like, that's a target. That's a man that I would want to go after. So when Javen Myra going after RT3, I can understand if that's how you wanted to make a statement. RT3, granted, going after me is making one statement, but going after a man that's won the SOM title 7 times, and I believe he's won from when I've been there, he's won the East Tennessee tag titles twice.
Twice.
Once. He's won them twice. He's won them twice. And that's just from me being there. That's enough of accomplishment. And he was the 2024 Paul Morton Cup winner. He was last year's Paul Morton Cup winner. So with all that stacked behind it, that's plenty enough reason to sit there and go after him. That's plenty enough reason to sit there and make your statement with him. But I mean, going behind him, not the greatest statement to make, because I mean, all you're showing is that you can attack him from behind. What about a full one-on-one confrontation?
And then, well, they got him while he was hurt too. After they attacked him from behind, RT3 came out. He made a statement that he wanted Javen Myra. Come hell or high water, he was going to get him. And then they attacked him from behind yet again. They gave a distraction in. They put Dara Conley in the ring with him. She's running her mouth, and Javen comes from behind and attacks him from behind again. So that was the second time that he was attacked from behind. But he did get an opportunity, or was supposed to get the opportunity, to face Javen Myra. And Javen cowardly attacked him from behind on the second opportunity, for sure. You know, so making a statement is one thing. Making a statement because you have to make a statement is one thing. Doing it because you're a coward is another thing. And I know those are strong words, but it's cowardly. It's an act of cowardice if you can't face somebody man to man. RT3 is honorable. I don't care what anybody says. RT3 is beyond honorable. And if he tells you that he wants to fight you, he wants to fight you, but he's going to do it man to man. He's going to do it face to face, and he's going to do it by himself. And he doesn't care if it costs him hell, high water, or anything in between. He's going to get his hands on you the way that he wants to. And so this is a very scary situation that Javen Myra has put himself in now, because you've got a former world champion, like you said, 7-time world champion. You've got somebody who's going to be the world champion one day. You've got somebody who else that he's attacked from behind, that he's choked out and thrown around on the ground, who was a hybrid champion. So he's not making very many friends at SOM, even though he thinks that he's got the enterprise behind him, Blade Gibson. So that's a very good thing for you that's going forward, because you might just get to pick his bones one day after he's been attacked and laid on the ground for everybody else to see. Could be an option.
I mean, what's that saying? Payback's revenge is a dish best served cold, or something like that.
Yes, sir. Revenge is a dish best served cold.
Well, what's a colder way to lose your title than losing it in the fashion of how you've wrecked everybody in the locker room?
That's all I'm saying about it, Blade. So I know we've got to move on a little bit. I know that there's lots of stuff that's going on at the School of Morton here recently. And we've got the Cobra Strikes Back that's going to be coming up on April 5th and April 6th. The April 5th event that's going to be there is going to be the seminars with Santino Marella that's going to be taking place. I do believe that there are still some spots available for that. Let me find it here. I know I've got it here, but we've got it coming up right here, guys. So you can do the meet and greet with him at 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday, April 6th. It's going to be $40 per person on April 6th. That's going to be there for that. But he's also doing a seminar for $100 per person on April 5th. And that's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the School of Morton at 128.5 Rivers Plaza right there. There's still just some tickets available for you. This meet and greet, it includes a front row seat ticket, Blade. It also includes the meet and greet. It includes a poster for the event. And you also get that extra hour to come in. So the doors normally open at 4 p.m. You will be able to get in at 3 p.m. to do the meet and greet with him, talk to him, take your picture, get everything taken care of that you need to on that front with him as well. And they are having these tickets available at ticketleap.com. I'm going to put a QR code right up here for you guys. You can scan that QR code. It's going to take you directly to the meet and greet $40 per person page there. We want you to be able to scan that code. And if you enter the promo code Arabbidb3aver at checkout, you're going going to get a special discount for those tickets available for you as well. Now, Blade, there's so much stuff that's going to be going on there. I have to ask, are you going to be a part of this show? Is anything going to be happening with you?
Yes, I am scheduled to verse Get 'em Kilgore.
You heard it right here first. Get him Kilgore. So Get him Kilgore is factioned with Judas, and he's also factioned with Commodore Legion. Is that correct?
That it is.
So we've talked about getting screwed in the past. And the back is what we talked about earlier. Commodore Legion and Judas are known for cheating as well. They're known for getting involved inside that ring anytime, any place, anywhere. And you know, just like I know, with your family history and heritage, Judas has a personal grudge against the Mortons. He has a personal grudge against the Gibsons. So, with that being said, one of his boys, Get him Kilgore, is going to be getting in the ring with you. Do you think he's going to be taking it to the action on the outside of the ring as well?
I definitely see it coming. I mean, once I got told that I was going against Get him, I've been paying attention to his matches, especially just recently the tag match he had with my cousin Josh Anderson and my friend Christian Lee. Obviously pulling cheap tactics throughout the whole match, and then after cheating to get the victory, they proceeded to pull a Javen Myra and attack them after the match.
Very true.
So going forward with this, I expect Get him to try having Judas to help him in some way, shape, or form. I'm honestly kind of expecting Commodore to probably make his presence known. But that's not going to stop me from getting this momentum that I need going into the goals that I have set. If I want to be SOM champion, I'm going to need to get all the momentum I can get. And all it's going to start at Cobra Strikes Back. So it's going to start with Get him. Get him. It's going to start with you, respectfully. I can say it respectfully because I try to be respectful to my opponents. It's going to start with you to build my momentum. And from that point onward, anyone I step in the ring with is nothing more than momentum. It's going to be nothing more than the driving force that Javen Myra better be prepared to handle.
Blade, do you think that you need somebody in your corner at the Cobra Strikes Back? Do you think that you have anybody that would have your back if that becomes the case?
If it becomes the case, I think there's somebody I can call. I think there's somebody that's free that night that's not doing anything. Or if they are doing something, it's nothing too extravagant.
Awesome. Well, let's walk into it. The Cobra Strikes Back is going to be taking place, as we said, April 6th, 2025, right there at the Morton Arena, 128 Five Rivers Plaza in Newport, Tennessee. And there is a big match that's going to be taking place there. The Kazanas, the country gentlemen themselves, are going to be taking TKO and Manus the Saviors with Santino Marella. It's going to be happening. All the action right there going to be taking place for you guys. And as you see right here, Devon Belcher is going to be taking on Ricky Dooley. Let me pull this down. I didn't realize it was still up. It's going to be taking on Ricky Dooley right there at the Cobra Strikes Back as well, with Bronson Garrett Enterprises out there and Dara O'Conley as well. As you can see right there, you got to wonder if Ricky Dooley is going to be having that go-go juice, and it's going to be making him go crazy in the ring. Michael Gabriel and versus Max Abel versus Evan Golden versus Connor Martin for that East Tennessee Heavyweight Championship is going to be taking place right there at the Cobra Strikes Back as well. You don't want to miss that four-way action that's going to be going on. The Golden Child recently has been on a tear, but man, he's had to have some help as well to get those victories. We also have a 20-person over-the-top battle royal that's going to be taking place for the brand new SOM X Division Championship. And Blade, I don't know if you've been keeping up with Legacy, but there's a gentleman that just won a gauntlet match, and he's just been in a gauntlet match, and he's been named to this in Prince Gabriel. And I think that he would be somebody to keep your eye on in the future. And we've got a lot more stuff to talk about here, Blade, but let's just talk about the Cobra Strikes Back for just a moment. Is there anything you're excited to see that's going to be happening at the Cobra Strikes Back?
Besides the main, which I'm assuming is the main event, right? The tag match, that's always going to be something to watch, especially when you have the NWA US Tag Champions coming into town. But if there's anything I'm looking forward to, it's just seeing Santino, learning from Santino. I mainly focus more on the seminar than I am the show. Because obviously it's kind of a little biased for me to be sitting here saying, yeah, I'm ready for my match of the show. If you're going to go outside that, I hope Ricky Dooley smacks the Von Belcher silly. I hope that whoever wins the X Division title is somebody that's willing to actually fight properly and not cowardly.
Now, we forgot something here, Blade. I forgot something. This is my fault. We also have, coming from the territories themselves, the NWA territories, Carson Drake, the youngest television champion in NWA history, and Aaron Stevens is going to be there. They're going to be doing some talent evaluations as well, from what I understand. Does that excite you a little bit that you're going to be able to be on the forefront, being seen by some of the biggest names in the industry?
I put that's adrenaline. I got my spine. I got to chill up my spine from that. I almost had me pumped up. I can feel the heat coming off my body. I'm ready for that. By all means, I'm ready for that.
I believe it, Blade. I believe you're ready for that. Now, Blade, we've had a good conversation here today. Before I let you go, we're going to talk about a couple things. The first thing is the School of Morton. If you had to tell anybody why you wanted to choose the School of Morton, why would you have them choose it?
For the main purpose of you're not going to learn from any other place better than what you're going to learn from School of Morton, especially with who our trainers are right now, which is NWA Women's Champion Kenzie Page, and then there's also Casey, one half of the NWA United States Champion Tag Champions, Casey Kazana, as you can see, and we also have TKO sits there and helps out. I don't know why EC Dangerously's on there when he doesn't have a contract anymore. if there's a sole reason why you should come to School of Morton, it's for the fact of you won't learn wrestling anywhere better than what you will at the School of Morton.
The experience, the tutelage that you get from the people that are there, as you mentioned, the U.S. Tag Team Champion, half of the U.S. Tag Team Champions, Casey Kazana for the NWA is there. The Women's World Heavyweight Champion, holding the Burke right now for the NWA, Kenzie Page is one of their head trainers, is the head trainer at the School of Morton currently. Yeah, people who step in all the time, like Dylan McQueen, who's going to be there. AJ Kazana comes in from time to time. Ricky Morton comes in. Kerry Morton comes in from time to time. So you're learning from some of the best inside the industry. If you're ready to commit, if you're ready to pay, if you're ready to talk about it, if you're ready to be a part of it, this is how you do it. And this is what we were talking about earlier. April 5th at the School of Morton, they've got Santino Marella holding that seminar. And if you want to sign up for that seminar, you got to get a hold of them right there at the School of Morton. It's $100 per person. You can cash app it to right there, the dollar sign, Jay Strange. 848 is who you want to talk to get that out there, just to let you guys know. And you can pay for it right now and let them know. And you also need to go straight over to this big event here on the homepage, and you need to contact them and put your contact information in. Send them a message today. You want to be a professional wrestler, this is the way to do it. This is a tutelage that you need to get you started. They will start you from beginner all the way to intermediate and even into advanced classes. And if there's something that you still need, there's other places that you can go that they can help you get into, just for having the names behind you that you have behind you, such as little Mr. Blade Gibson right here. Is that correct? Fair to say, sir?
That's a fair thing to say. That's a correct, fair thing to say.
Excellent. So, Blade, before I let you go, if anybody would like to get a hold of you and to book you, how can they do it, sir?
Well, you have my Facebook, which is simply just Blade Gibson. Thank you, Ashley. Simply just Blade Gibson right there. You have my Gmail, which is bladegibson960@gmail.com. You also have Instagram, which is Blade Gibson 2003. Because for some reason, normal Blade Gibson was taken.
That's all right. Normal Blade Gibson can be taken as long as we know that you're Blade Gibson 2003 at Instagram. That would work for us. Now, Blade, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you coming on Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver. Now, you were on River City Media about a week ago, and you were talking some hot and heavy stuff on River City Media. Are you going to be able to go back there, sir? Did they invite you to come back?
They haven't invited me to come back yet, but then again, I did tell them that next time I'm back on there, it's hopefully I'm SON champion.
Hopefully. So we hope the same thing here. The next time that you come on here, Blade Gibson, we want to see some gold around that shoulder or around that waist.
I definitely in the plans. Definitely in the plans.
And before I finally let you go, I'm going to go back over the Cobra Strikes Back, which is going to be taking place Sunday, April 6th, right there at the School of Morton. You guys definitely want to see it. And Mayhem is going to have live television tapings this Sunday, guys, at 5:05 Eastern Standard Time, 128.5 Rivers Plaza in Newport, Tennessee. Now, that taping is going to be $10 at the door for general admission, $15 at the door for front row seating, and the doors are going to open at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5:05 taping time right there, 128.5 Rivers Plaza, Newport, Tennessee. Blade Gibson, my esteemed guest, I hope to see you soon, sir. Thank you for being here today on such short notice, and we hope to have you back soon.
Thank you for inviting me. I hope you guys have a good night.
You too. Thank you so much. And you all heard it here first on Wrestle Talk with the Rabid Beaver. Thank you guys. Y'all have a wonderful night too. Bye-bye.